On my face thinking, crap, how am I going to top this for my toast? There's just no way, it's the best story. So after the weighing's over, I sit down and start to think about what I'm going to say for this toast. And I have nothing. I start to get a couple stories and nothing's really sticking. Then last Tuesday, I thought of a great story to tell. This is the story of our move-in day freshman year at MSOE. So, to give you guys kind of a background on this day, MSOE doesn't provide the students with bed lofts, you have to make your own. It's kind of like the first test as an engineering student. And you know you've passed the test when your bed loft doesn't fall apart on you in the middle of the night as you're sleeping in it. So, summer before freshman year, Eric and I have just become huge nerds about making these bed lofts. We want to make the coolest design possible. We actually get special permission from MSOE to go into our dorm room 2 months before move-in day and take exact measurements of the entire room to the inch of what our, so we could make the best design possible. So now we move into design phase, and our vision for these lofts were to have 2 floating beds. Now, the way that we would do this was we'd have columns at each of the 4 corners, and then we'd have 2 beams running across each of the ends. And the beds would be supported on the beams, so it kind of gave the illusion of them just floating in the middle of air. So it's going to look pretty sweet. So move-in day finally comes, and we have all the wood, all cut out. It's all dimensioned perfectly. We load it up into Eric's car. We take it down to MSOE, and we bring it into the room, and we start to put it together, and it doesn't fit. And now the panic sets in. We start scrambling, we don't know what to do. I'm thinking we're not going to have lofts at all. Or if we are, we just have to completely redesign everything. But Eric, thankfully, being the structural engineer that he is, he thought of a way to save the design by adding just 2 more columns to each of the beds. So we quick run to Home Depot, buy the wood, go to my parents' house to cut it. And at this point, it's like 7 or 8 at night. But our pride's in the line, so we quick cut it, take it back to MSOE, and put up the lofts. Now, what's ironic when I think back on this story is, now that we're both graduated, we both have jobs, such a huge part of both of our jobs now is to make sure mistakes exactly like this one don't happen in the field of construction, right? So, I guess it's good that we both learn from our mistakes. Now, I feel obligated to take this time to tell Lindsay some advice about living with her new husband. As I've said, I've lived with Eric for 5 years, so I've learned some things in that time, and I'd like to share with the top 3 pieces of advice I can give you. Number 1, this one you may already know. Eric is actually a pretty good cook. So Lindsay, if you're just slammed with grading tests or homework assignments, or you just had a really rough day, do not feel guilty or hesitate to ask Eric to make dinner. He can definitely handle himself in the kitchen. Now I will say that this piece of advice comes with asterisks. I only have experience with Eric cooking more of like the manly dinner options, so like grilling assorted meats or making instant mashed potatoes. I don't know how good he is at making a cake or making cookies, so proceed at your own risk. Number 2, some of the best conversations you will ever have with Eric are going to happen after 10 p.m. So this is sober or a little bit tipsy. So back when we were living in the dorms, Eric and I would sometimes stay up, late talking for hours just about everything, religion, politics, science, philosophy. And Eric would always find this way to just wrap up our conversations in just this really profound statement that would just always blow my mind. So my advice would be that when you go into bed, don't just instantly go to sleep because you're going to miss out on some of the best conversations that you could have. It's definitely worth the lost couple of hours to sleep. Finally, number 3, and this is probably the most important. This is what you have to do in case Eric's ever in a bad mood. So, if Eric ever comes home angry and just had a really stressful day at work, I want you to take his hand, walk him to the couch, turn on the TV show Cops, and then go into the kitchen and make a box of stovetop turkey stuffing. I have no idea why, but I swear it calms him right down. As a last resort, you can try canned ham. But in all seriousness, I'm so happy for the both of you, and I'm so honored that I had the opportunity to be part of one of the biggest days of your life. I wish for the both of you to have a long life together that's full of happiness, love, and faith. Cheers to Eric and Lindsay.